Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Navigating to Success, where we explore business journeys with entrepreneurs and CEOs all over the world. I'm your host, Jeff Carlton, certified business coach with Focal Point Coaching and Training, and I'm really super excited to have another Montana company on the board today, Gordon Johnson, who is with Stray Bullet, formerly Torrey, and I am going to kick it straight over to Gordon and let him tell you about his company and what they do now.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that introduction. And so I'll just hop right in. So Stray Bullet, with that, we are essentially designing boat covers. So when you look at the cover industry, there's a lot of different types of covers you can buy. Most people end up throwing a tarp over their boat, or they go online and they just buy a generic cover. There's a few small upholstery shops where you can go and get custom made boat covers. However, that's only local. And there's kind of this trend going on where the upholstery shops, everyone's aging out and going away. And so that makes it hard to even find custom upholstery to be done, whether that's, boat covers, boat interiors, restoring old cars, or just furniture in general. And so we decided, hey, we can focus down on this single market that is the boat cover industry and expand that using artificial intelligence, some generative design and so forth to be able to actually mass market that to the whole entire United States instead of just a small geographical location.
Wow. Okay. So there's two things that struck me when you said that. When you say so these skilled craftsmen, you said they're aging out and you're looking to fill what you have determined to be a gap. So you effectively have found a blue ocean. Are you familiar with the
Right.
blue ocean strategy?
Yeah, essentially,
That's okay. So that's one point. And then you didn't start your business journey out as an entrepreneur in the boat cover business. You started it out in pursuing some tankless water technology. Can you expound on that history just a little bit?
yeah. So with tankless water heaters, we started that about 3 years ago. That would have been about 2020, right before the pandemic and everything else started happening.
Nice timing, right?
Yep. And so with that, the essential goal was to go out and develop a better water heater, and that morphed into the different company structure and just kind of what we can be able to do within the water heater industry. And essentially, it came to where we decided, hey, we got to restructure our business model, and so we went to more of a subscription based, so similar to a renting, but more of kind of that lease aspect of a water heater. And adding in some, again, AI and machine learning and the IoT world, we could be able to detect failure within a unit. And seeing how you're paying a subscription, we could tell you all the stats, flush your water heater when it needed flush, or just simply replace it at no extra cost.
And so what happened? And so that project became unsustainable for you, that moved you into a different strategy?
With that one, yeah, exactly. So with that one, to incorporate all the different sensors, everything that we needed to make the business model work, we had to build out our own water heaters. And so manufacturing, especially a product like that, there's enormous costs. We are estimated just in our more of a pre-seed round to have to raise about $2 million just to get started. We went around and raised some smaller capital and from friends and family and so forth, and then got us pretty far, but not far enough with it.
So a two-part question, and I'll try do my best not to stack them together because I do that from time to time. What inspired you to start your own business in the first place? What was the passion or the spark that got you up out of bed and put the fire in your belly?
I'm so both my parents have owned their own businesses for years and years, and I started a business a little bit out of high school as well. That was a beverage distribution company, and learned a lot. Had a lot of failure with that one too, but in the end, learned a lot. But essentially, for me, it's creating something useful for people, right? And so when I'm making something and I see someone's eyes light up of like, hey, that's an awesome idea, right? Or hey, I would use that. I love that. That's what drives me. It's that spark of inspiration of, hey, that would work. I've never tried that before. That's great. I would use it.
That's very Richard Branson-esque, if you will. It's what kicks that dopamine out that makes you feel good about it, and seeing people happy and seeing something that's useful. That's pretty cool. So, you of all the people that I've interviewed, and among my clients, you're one of the first people that had such a dramatic pivot in their business strategy on their journey. Um, is there any tip, trick, indicator that you had other than financials that indicated this pivot that you had?
Um, yeah, essentially kind of I would say the speed at which things are moving along, right? Um, if you're not kind of also gaining traction, right, within the marketplace, right? Because that was one of our other problems, was being able to gain traction. If you look at the business model itself, was for Tory, was originally structured from similar within Canada. So within Canada, a lot of people actually rent their water heaters from the utility companies. And if anything goes wrong, they come in, replace it. It's just an extra bill tacked on to their utility bill. So we figured, hey, it works there. Why can't we just bring this over to the US? Some places in the US do also do that. I know in Great Falls, Montana, there's actually the utility company there offers a package where you can rent a water heater as well. And so that's tacked on to just your utility bill. But at the end of the day, it was hard to, between having rebates and so forth. We are looking at, hey, we can go energy efficiency wise, right? So then how do you structure out all the different rebates plus the subscription plan, and have all that combined with it? And that was just hard to be able to navigate through that landscape, as there's a lot of different complexities all coming into one. So the biggest part, yeah, traction. If you're not gaining traction, then you're not moving forward, and at that point, then you need to start reconsidering what you're doing.
Well,
if you should pivot the company slightly, or just totally be done with it and start something new.
Well, it's a pretty remarkable insight, and it's very brave, in my opinion, very humble opinion, to go, hey, it's time to cut bait on this one and do something else. So that's admirable. And it doesn't sound like you missed a step. You just went from okay, this to that. So how many employees do you have now, and how many were with you at Torrey, or is it a complete restructure?
A complete restructure with that. So with Tory, there between everyone, advisors, so forth, there was about 12 people. And then with Stray Bullet now we have right around 10 total.
How fast do you see yourself expanding? What's your plan for the future? What are your next steps?
So right now we're actually to the point where it's just generating sales, and expanding, and we're kind of to that point of which this is a good problem, right? Of having too many cells and not being able to keep up with production, and navigating that landscape for it. And so essentially, the plan is about this time next year to be doing about $1 million in revenue.
Fantastic. On that, and this is a chance for a guiltless plug. Are you hiring, and what kind of skill sets are you looking for, if so?
Not currently hiring, but eventually we'll be hiring for more of the seamstresses and the people working within production itself.
Okay, fantastic. Well, certainly stay in touch with me on that, and see if we can help you out with that. One question that I always like to ask all my CEOs and owners is what tips, tricks, routines do you use to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
That's a good one, because sometimes I can get sucked into my work. Everything else goes away. For me, the biggest thing is just that realization of saying, hey, work isn't everything, right? If you overwork yourself, then you get unhealthy. And if you're unhealthy, you can't work to perform the best, right? So at the end, I look at it as a whole, what on a daily basis is going to allow me to always work at the highest that I can, right? To be the most performance that I'm able to do. And so whether that's I have to go and if I'm super tired and I have to go take a nap, right, to re-energize my brain, or stop and eat, or to stop and spend some time with the family, then that's what I need to do. And calendar everything out, say I'm going to only have this time to work, and I know because I only have this much time to work, I have to get it all done. So you're holding yourself accountable to not procrastinate on that, because hey, after this deadline, it's time to spend the time with the family, and after that deadline, right, it's time to do your next step, go to sleep, get up, do it over again.
And that's a key thing that you just said is procrastinate, but hold yourself accountable. That is a key thing. If you're able to do and have that discipline to hold yourself accountable to your own deadlines, that's pretty good. So do you use a block scheduling technique on your calendar to say when you're going to work, or do you use a block scheduling technique to say when you're not going to work, or is it a combination?
I would say a little bit of a combination. So, I took it and said, hey, here's a high level overview of what I want to get done within 1 year, right? And then so you start out at 1 year, start breaking things down into monthly, and then break that stuff down smaller, and then just kind of use that block schedule into, hey, for me at the end of the week to get what I want done, what do I need to accomplish, right? And block those things out and estimate, hey, it's going to take me this much time to do it, and I need to just sit down and do it. And then say, hey, I want to spend this much time with my family, or this much time personal time, right? Then you need to block that out and keep it blocked out and do it.
So I saw them on when we were getting to know each other digitally across LinkedIn. I saw that strategic planning comes up in there. So I'm assuming that you have a strategic plan. Does your strategic plan go beyond 12 months from now, or is that kind of where your focus area is the here and now?
Yeah, it goes beyond 12 months, and where it's essentially about 5-6 years out with Stray Bullet, and for a mix of things, right? So that's kind of what revenue projections of where I want to be, as well as technology wise. I'm a big technology fan, and so implement new technologies. just really, that really structures right into what the plan is going to be, whether that's breaking into new markets, staying into the same market, so forth.
Right on. So, from a strategic standpoint, do you, how important is a mission and vision statement to you in a strategic plan?
Um, I would say it's fairly important, right? Because then you can stay focused, right? And that kind of helps everyone else to stay focused as well, right? Of this is what we're going after. However, sometimes those mission and vision statements can be, I don't know, very broad as well. So being too broad sometimes, hey, then maybe does it really matter if it's just a catchphrase for your consumers, right? Of, hey, this is our mission, more than an internal view of the corporation itself.
I totally agree. And having done a lot of strategic planning, formal strategic planning with other companies, I would offer that um, there were two mission statements at any given time. There was the short version that was internal, and then there was the external version that was maybe a little more verbose, that expounded a little bit on it. And I will just throw a pet peeve out there. Anybody that's writing a vision statement that says we want to be the best at X, I would challenge you. Tell me what KPI you measure best in, because best is not quantifiable, in my opinion. So,
I agree
um,
with that.
uh, one other thing about strategic planning is, are there any 1 to 3 core value words that you would put out that kind of define your company, or is that just kind of implied because you have a very tight knit group that's kind of family? It may be implied within your organization. I don't know I don't want to catch you flat-footed, but do you have one or two core values that are out there?
The biggest one for, I guess, core values, like internally, is just working towards performance, right? So that kind of goes a little bit externally as well as internally. So, seeing how it's boat covers, right? We're stitched to performance, right? So everything is held up for quality with that. And taking that internally, just performance on your day-to-day life. So whether that's at your job or while you're off work, both.
I can respect that as a recovering perfectionist. Um, uh, my one and number two are competence and empowerment. Hire good people and stay out of their way, as CEO of, or the founder of 3M, I think, said. So the last prepared question, and then I'll let you take it anywhere you want to go after this. This is where you get to swing for the fences. Is what advice would you offer to any aspiring entrepreneur or any owner that is perhaps struggling out there on keys to success?
Um, those are, I would say there's two different advices there.
It was a trick question. I told
Yeah.
you I wasn't going to do that, but I kind of did, didn't I?
I'd say, as an aspiring entrepreneur, first I would say, you might have a big grand plan of something great you want to build, but, start out small, right? So build something small. I had an uncle that, he went and built his own company as well. And he said you'll learn more by just starting and building something than you ever will in, going to school or anything else. And so I'd say, pick something, not huge, but, small that you can just do and learn it and get started. Right. If you fail, oh, well, it's small enough that it's not that big of a deal and you're going to gain a lot of experience out of that to go on and take the next step for the next thing. And for actual, business owners, at the end of the day, I'd say, I got this from actually a governor, and he said, cash is king. And at the end of the day, running a business, whether that's a small business or a larger business, yeah, cash is king. If you don't have a good cash flow, then you can't get ahead, right? You're going to stay behind. And so, whether you need to change up products, change strategy, sales, whatever you need to do to make that cash come in, then everything else falls into place at that point.
That's two great pieces of advice, and I would agree with the cash flow and staying solvent is important. The first one, though, when you said just get started. If you've determined to do nothing, then you've determined that nothing will happen. So sometimes you just got to steal the phrase from another company. You just got to do it and buckle down. So I love that. That's great words of wisdom. So as I tell most of the folks that come on the series here, you can put virtual mentor on your resume now, for anybody that might see this and happen to learn anything from your successes. Anything else before we close it out, Gordon?
Not that I can think of at the moment. It's pleasure speaking with you, Jeff, and I hope we'll be able to do this again down the road.
Yeah, I would welcome that opportunity for sure. How can people find you out there if they are looking to get a boat cover?
Go to straybullet.us. That's STRAYBULLET.us, or connect with me on LinkedIn at Gordon Olson.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I know as a guy running a small business, you're incredibly busy. So taking 30 minutes to chat with me and share your lessons learned is a benefit to everybody. And for all the people that tuned in to watch or pulled this down off of YouTube or LinkedIn, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next edition of Navigating to Success.